Good morning, class. Today we'll be learning an element of the interesting yet super confusing concept of hearsay.
Aww.
Oh, come on. I'll start off easy. We're going to focus on what an assertive statement is in this class. Before I begin, I'll need 4 volunteers. Any takers? Come on, volunteer or be voluntold.
I'll do it.
Yeah, me too. Extra credit? No, but you raised your hand, so it looks like you're our 3rd volunteer. Fine.
Okay, I guess I'll volunteer too.
Super! Okay, to start things off, an assertive statement is defined in Federal Rule of Evidence 801A as an oral or written assertion or nonverbal conduct of a person if it is by the person as an assertion. With that said, you 4 souls are going to give the class examples of what an assertive statement is and is not. Seth, you're up first.
Okay, example of a verbal assertive statement would be someone coming up to me and telling me that they had just shot someone.
Good. Malin? An example of a verbal non-assertive statement would be hearing a friend sleep talk about her plans to rob a bank. Great. This is not assertive because the friend does not mean for her sleep talking to convey her beliefs or opinions. Sarah? A nonverbal assertive statement would be something like traffic signals. They don't talk, but you know what they mean. Good. And last but not least, Jax.
A nonverbal, non-assertive statement would be someone shrieking in pain or going pale as a result of an event.
Awesome. Now that you know what constitutes an assertive statement, the 4 of you can take your seats. I have a few real-world examples of where an assertive statement has been a focal point in court decisions. The first goes along with what Jax just defined for us. In the case of Cole v. United States, the defendant was accused of bank robbery, and the hearsay of the bank teller's physical appearance. The teller, who was robbed, was shaky and drained of color after the incident, as defined by her co-worker. This was deemed not assertive because physical appearance cannot be communicative. The second court case was Park v. Huff. In this case, Park was accused of murdering a Georgia prosecutor with the use of dynamite. During trial, a co-conspirator kept saying "the old man" during his testimony, leading attorneys to imply that the co-conspirator referring Park's nickname had in fact been Old Man, and though the co-conspirator did not say Park's real name, he used his well-known alias. This was held to be an assertive statement. The third case was U.S. v. Jackson. In this court case, Jackson had an accomplice, and the 2 of them were convicted of dealing heroin and conspiracy to distribute the drug. To apprehend Jackson and his partner, police had set up outside of Jackson's apartment and eavesdropped through the crack in the threshold while the 2 were talking about their plans to sell the heroin. The police had violated a reasonable expectation of privacy, and the conversation held between Jackson and his partner were non-assertive since they intended to communicate in a private setting. The final example in the case of U.S. v. Ross. Ross was suspected of stealing large sums of money from a company where he was employed. A person of interest who knew of Ross and of his plans was used as the person of interest refused to witness in court. The person of interest refused to talk during his time on the stand. Instead, he pointed to an account that Ross had been using to funnel money out of the company and into his own accounts. This nonverbal statement was held to be assertive since the witness used pointing as a means of communication. Well, class, that pretty much wraps up what an assertive statement is for today. Remember that an assertive statement can be either verbal or nonverbal, but it has to convey a belief in order to count. Have a great rest of the day, and don't forget to read chapters 11 through 20 for next lecture.